good. How you doing?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
I hope you have a good day.
Hope you have a better week.
I hope your month is full of successful days and a lot of great ventures. I hope you just come up, brother.
I hope your whole fucking year is spectacular.
Oh, you hope my year is spectacular.
Yeah.
You got something you want to say to me?
You got something you want to say?
For the next episode, we're going to continue the madness because we're going to go from galaxies to comics. We're going to figure out the strongest, most precious metal in the world. So much so that people sometimes say there's
too much iron in your blood,
or that your bones are coated in metal. Any metal, really. Iron, adamantium, vibranium, or you just love it so much that when you see these men of metal, you geek out.
You have a metal arm? That is awesome, dude.
But by now, you're a little confused about what this riddle is trying to say. Take you and two of your best friends, swing on by the next episode. Just make sure you tell them that when it comes to these riddles,
I could do this all day.
those are the clues for next episode. If you think you know who's going to be the next lineup, put it in the comments below. And with that, what up, family? It's your boy Amaru, and we are back with another episode of One Gotta Stay. And I gotta say, I'm probably gonna keep a count of how many of these we're gonna hit before the end of the night. But for those of y'all new to the show, we're here with One Gotta Stay, where I am an evil man, and give y'all choices, impossible choices. Instead of picking one to go, only one gets to stay, and the work of all the other choices gotta go. And we're in the middle of our One Geek Character Tournament, where we're trying to figure out what's the one geek character that stays above them all. Last week, my esteemed panel had to choose from Star Wars characters, and the two that kept it moving, moved on to the next round, are Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. And this week, my esteemed panel gets to choose from 6 staples in Marvel. Are they going to pick Magneto? Are they going to go with Logan, Iron Man, T'Challa, Spidey, or Cap? And that is the big question for today. And the gentlemen who are going to join me to figure out this hard choice are right here. Starting this side, my man, you're going to hear a lot of movie trivia Schmodown references today. A lot of us here do that greatest movie trivia in the world. Former teams champion, Mr. Chance Ellison. Chance, how you feeling?
Feeling good. Thanks for having me.
All right. You excited for this one?
I am, man. This is a tough list put together, but it's some tough cuts, but I'm ready to get into why I chose what I chose.
All right. You can hear that. You can see him on the Schmodown. You can also see him on his Notorious by Chance podcast. And then next to him, former, I'm going to say former because I'm going for it next.
Oh, wow.
Champion on the Schmodown. But sweetest man in the world when he's not being the chosen one. Sandru, how you feeling? How you feel about the list? How you doing today? First time on.
I'm feeling good. Ready to talk all things Marvel. Like even when you were like giving the hints, like with the intro video, I was like, dude, that was like so well, nicely done, and like I was super excited to like talk about all 6 of these characters. So it's gonna be fun.
All right, excited. Right under him, from a certain point of view, talking all things Schmodown as well as Apocalypse. We got Jake Berlin. If you know him, you might know where he's gonna go. If you don't, you'll find out later. How you feeling, sir?
I'm good. This is definitely a tough choice, but yeah, don't reveal anything just yet. I kept everything out of the background that may have given something away. So,
I keep that.
People watching. We had to get one. We had to get one on here.
Next to him, it's the swaggy one himself. You can find him managing me with the Schmodown. You can also find him with Mr. J. Washington on Blurs in the Hood. Go check it out. Absolutely hilarious. My man, Winston A. Marshall. How you feeling, sir?
Oh man, I really feel like Monday just slapped the hell out of me. So I'm about ready to come in here and relax, rejuvenate and talk some trash. Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's talk it. Talk some trash. Make sure we don't have any of that. And last but not least, man came from in the stands, and now He's a staple. As we lose chance, he'll be back eventually. A staple of the showdown, Mr. Jader. Ramo, Jader, how you feeling, sir?
I'm feeling great, man. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be. Look at this beautiful panel, guys. Some legends on here.
It is a beautiful one. And he's back. He was scared of somebody coming up and he got out. That's two. But you know what? Let's get this going. We are going to get started with number 4, Jader.
Oof.
Jader.
Oh,
Who is your number 4? Number 4. So we got 5 and 6, but we're gonna start. We're gonna start with who is your number 4?
So I was a little confused on the list. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I sent it out, I didn't know if we were doing comic book or we were doing films. I went based
off you want, but go ahead. It's based off whatever you want, so it's all good.
Just, since I'm like, it's all Schmodown related and all that, I'm like, I'm gonna go based off films. I went Magneto number 4. Yeah. I know it was a little bit of an interesting pick, but I have love for the other characters that are on top. I think he is a staple in what the Marvel world is, both comic wise and every iteration so far that we've gotten of Magneto hasn't disappointed, at least with me. I feel like he's always been like mostly standouts, and outshines every other character in the Marvel, almost every other character in the Marvel universe. So I went with Magneto with number 4, man. I really love his character, both in the comics and in the film. So, I couldn't just throw him out there, but again, there's other characters that I absolutely love more.
That hurts my heart a little bit.
You didn't make this one easy either, dude. So
I never do. Lovely. And for anybody asking, the beauty of the show is you get to choose whatever reason you want to keep. Movies, comics, all together, doesn't matter. Kind of makes for a beautiful one. For me, this hurts because the man is. Magneto is I think the only villain on this one.
See, it's okay, Jader. Just say out loud that you don't mess with Brother Malcolm, and then we can move on, dog. Like that's all you have to say. Just say you don't rock with Brother Malcolm, and then we can move on to the conversation.
You can admit it. It's fine.
Anybody else not mess with Brother Malcolm, or is Jader alone on this for his number 4?
I don't have him at 4. He's on my list, but I don't have him at 4.
Jader, you're on your own. So you know what? We'll just take the heat off of you.
Oh, that's so good.
And we'll put it on me.
Okay.
You also have a 4?
Oh, my number 4. Yeah, I didn't make this very easy on myself. People are gonna.
Bro, if it's what I think it is, I have so many words for you.
You can't complain because you did. This is all you. This is your fault.
So many words for you. If I think it, if I don't know, I better not see what I'm thinking. Want to see what I'm thinking.
T'Challa is my number 4.
Bro, you want to know why? You want to know why you haven't been in the Black Exhibition match yet, fool? Come on now.
Well,
you son of a bitch.
This was the one that hurt my heart. It was the one that killed me.
Your brother's done.
I am now disowned. Look, hey, I know I made the list. Shush. Here's the deal. I did not read that many comics growing up. I only have the wall of Marvel cards that you've seen. Everything I grew up on was the movies and the TV show, and T'Challa came mad late for me. And the
should be enough, man. That should be enough.
Give me it should give me.
Bro,
give me
what black person show up on time to the party, but you know what I'm saying? We all come late and we steal the life of the damn party. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
Party started at 7. We show up at 10, and everybody goes, "Oh, ruin the building!" Like what are you talking about?
I'm sorry. It is what it is. The list is hard, and I still connect with some other ones slightly more than just this man himself. All 4 of my top 4 are top tier, but I couldn't do it. Somebody save me, please.
Yes.
Anybody else have
I'm not gonna save you. Only an outright monster would have the king at number 4.
At number 4.
And
I will
Jake.
summon this one.
I am not surprised. I'm just playing.
I'm not the only one.
I'm just playing. I'm
not the only one.
Look,
Thank you.
It's so funny because when Rue asked me to be on the show, I didn't even realize that as soon as I got on the show, I was like, oh shit. I know what I'm getting myself into. I didn't even realize when he had asked me on the show. But look, in all honesty, I echo everything that he said as far as the character. Look, the character of Black Panther brings something to the table unlike any other character in the Marvel Universe. But for me, because I didn't read a lot of comics growing up, and it was very specific to a certain amount of characters, I did see him late and and we didn't get to see a lot of him, unfortunately, because of what's been happening and the unfortunate passing of Chadwick. It just leaves me in a very tough spot. I have a lot of history with the other characters that are involved. But out of all of these characters, he brings the most unique thing to all of it. He's literally a king. Like it's so different for him compared to any other character in any Marvel thing, really. I know there's other kings, but not like him. So, yeah, I have incredible respect for the character, but keeping it in line with just the movies, I only got to see him a handful of times, and it is a big bummer, but that's what I'm kind of basing off of.
And Chance, you also did this. Why are you trying to just keep the blame on
me? I did
me?
go for it.
Go ahead and
so
say.
If you want to know why,
oh hell no!
If you want to know why I never.
You're the right slogan. No, see, this is bullshit. He's the dude at the cookout that sits in the back like, oh yeah, that's cool. Hello, officer. I got 3 people over here smoking the weed. You can come pick them up real quick. You snitch, mother.
The second song
came in, bitch.
And you want to know I never won the Black Exhibition? Well, I never won the Black Exhibition. This is why. I voted mine on a combination of comics, movies, who's the best lay. I'm kidding. He'd be a little high on the list. That was the criteria. But no, I have a little more history with T'Challa because I discovered him younger. I saw him in an animated movie. I think it's called Ultimate Avengers 2.
Avengers 2.
He was one of the main characters in that movie. And I'm like, oh shit, who is this? Because the only one brother I had in my life was Jon Stewart. I'm like, oh shit, Marvel's got a black superhero? There are other black superheroes outside of Black Green Lantern and Storm? And so that's when I really discovered Black Panther. I started reading one of his comics, and yeah, like the fact that he's a statesman, a scientist, king, hero. It was just it's a character I'd never seen anything quite like, and I was just really taken aback by is like how much his presence affected me on a personal level. So I do really love the character of T'Challa. And hey, look, 4 is a great, considering what he's up against, 4 is an excellent mark. I think the others are kind of undeniable in my opinion. I wouldn't hate putting him in the top like 2 or 3, but it's hard for me to put him against like these like massive legacy characters that I have above him. But yeah, I get it, and black people hate me all you want, but I have it for.
It's not hate. It's just that black mother, the church.
I brought out the church fans.
Well, you know what, Winston,
take that heat now. Any extra chicken?
What'd you say?
Winston, take that heat now. We're going over to you.
Oh, it's not heat. I am fully ready to defend this. Ain't no heat. Y'all can go ahead in the same way that this brother will ultimately heal from the fact that I'm eliminating him at number 4. I'm getting rid of Wolverine, dog.
Oh, come on.
What?
Come on.
I have plenty of reasons why I can't get fully into it until we get to the remaining 3. But my top 3, but I will say this. My decisions for this entire list are mixed with like personal situations as far as like how I relate to the character, what they mean overall to the nerd community and stuff like that. And then of course, what have they done as far as making money? So obviously Wolverine as a character, whether it be books or movies, he's kind of up there, pretty hardcore. But I gotta say that there are definitely 3 other people on this list that I think fill those categories a little more than just, you know, him doing what it is. Now, mind you, again, Logan is one of the best films that we've seen superhero-wise. But there's a number of people on this list that have kind of done better than him film-wise. Overall, you can give me one film, but overall, you know what I mean? Now, I know that he's the one that really saved Marvel in a lot of ways. There's a couple other characters that did, but I got to give him acknowledgement for that. I also know that he's the only reason that the X-Men franchise has survived. But there's too much to be talking about that override Wolverine, unfortunately.
Now, Winston, you didn't say that out loud, but I know one of your criteria is what's their favorite chicken sandwich, and he didn't have Popeye's favorite sandwich.
That's part of it. That's part of it, but also
Popeyes. That's why he's in that one.
part of it. But for every Logan, there is also an X-Men Origins Wolverine. Let's be real about this right now. For every Days of Future Past, there's an X-Men Last Stand. So don't sit up here and just pretend like Wolverine out here just all KOs, bruh. He is not the best at what he does. All right, he's decent.
Are any of these all KO? Okay, fair enough. But like,
quite possibly. But it's but the man goes anyway. You know what? Just keep it moving.
He got claws in it.
John Drew, you were the last one to give us our 4. We got three choices left. Which one did you give us?
So I thought about it in the way of like one gotta go from now on. If we are making no more of this character's movies, which one would I be like okay with like not having any more movies, right? So my number 4 pick I also like used combined the story of like what each these characters mean. So that was kind of my criteria for all of this. So my number 4 pick is Spider-Man. He's not.
Oh,
I know he might be.
I'm waiting for Corey to come out and just smack you and say,
"Hold on." So
my boy's name out your mouth.
So you're always a heel, is what you're telling me. There's no turning it off. No turning it off.
No, it's the Batman thing, right? It's just like if I have to see Uncle Ben die one more time, I would just be like, "Come on, you guys." I just don't want to see. I just don't want to see a teenager bit by a radioactive spider anymore. I just don't want to see another time like he's seeing like
I'm tired of seeing old men get shot.
Yeah, exactly. Or women get blown up for some reason. It's just he's fine.
She wishes got a bullet.
And what he means is kind of still this like Ferris Bueller type all wish fulfillment of what if a teenager gets all the powers and he suddenly he's like all powerful. But like I feel like that my top 3 picks have even better stories than what Spider-Man has as a story. So which is why I chose him as number 4.
And we're off to a great start. So that's everybody's number 4s, who we have remaining. So
why do I want to fight everybody?
Because for some reason, me, Chance, and Jake got rid of T'Challa, which I'm sorry, y'all.
It's okay, Jake. You're not racist. It's okay. We all did it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome. Winston got rid of Wolverine. Jader got rid of Magneto, and Chandru got rid of Spidey.
Yep.
So from
Stanley is crying. He is rolling in his grave.
It's fine.
A little bit. It is fine. Jake, who's your number 3?
Okay. So this is where it got really tough for me, just because, obviously growing up in a time when all of these characters really kind of just hit like their mark, even though certain characters have had long history in comic books. There's a few others that I can relate to and have a little bit more favoritism towards, but my number 3 actually is Spider-Man. And it's you'll see later on why. I'll explain it. All right. But look, the top 3 are literally they're the haymakers. They're the 3 for me that are just the greatest of the greats. They're what I can relate to the most. And Spider-Man, although he, is this high school kid, and when you're growing up, you can relate to him a ton. He's going through all of these emotions and stuff like what he's doing. And the Tom Holland version is incredible. Again, basing it off of the movies. I just slightly like the two characters above him a little bit more. That is really all it comes down to. I have nothing against the movies. I actually quite like most of the movies. There's one or two of the bunch that I, are average feeling. I like all three Spider-Mans, and I like most of the villains that are happening as well. So there's nothing really to say about me why I put him at 3, why I don't like him. It's simply just coming down to the fact that I like the two characters above him a little bit more.
Well, you're going to keep getting confused because I also have Spidey.
Come on.
Here's the deal.
You're getting rid of Black Spidey too, right? You realize that?
You literally erased the entire Spider-Verse, you stupid son of a bitch. But please continue.
I am kind of stupid. However, I am putting Miles in the back of my head on this one. He is not into this. However,
so Miles got to go in the back of the bus.
Clearly, yes. Miles likes the back of the bus. Leave him alone. So here's the deal: 1, 2, and 3 for me. I'll tell you this: my 2 was locked. Like the minute I actually sat down and thought about it, my 2 was locked. But 1 and 3 were like, okay, I don't know.
And you've eliminated the 2 that you've eliminated, and you had a 2.
Yes, I did. Because literally, look, I grew up with the Spidey in the 90s, and I'm telling you, it was so difficult because I don't know. I base my list on feel. I base my list on what I love about them as characters and like just the type of characters. And they are just 1, 2, and 3. I love Spidey to death. It's just when I came down to it, I knew in my head that again the other 2 just brought. I don't even know if I could say brought a little bit more. I just was like, if I don't make a decision, I'm never going to finish this. So I just was like, you know what? My gut says put him here. So I put him here because I have a connection. I have a connection with my number 1 because my number 2, I just feel like it's just so damn dope in all
2
aspects.
is such a weird one to have a lock. Like, okay,
I don't know why. You know what?
But 2,
it's my show. I get to
out.
do what I want with my list, and I had this down pat. So leave me alone, fam. Leave me alone.
Okay.
But it is what it is. That's where I went. Since you want to talk so much, go ahead, Chance. Who's your number 3?
My number 3 is Magneto. I think that this is a difficult cut, just because I think Magneto is undoubtedly, not by a wide margin, but pretty handedly the greatest villain in the Marvel Universe, just because you take a guy who is subject to the worst of humanity, and you just make someone who's just this incredibly compelling villain who, I think with the comics, movies, television, he's always a highlight of any X-Men property. It's one of my favorite scenes in Dark Phoenix where it's the scene where
there's such thing as a favorite scene.
He said
Sure.
Let's say my favorite scene in Dark Phoenix is with him in it, and it's where Xavier's laying the whole thing out. And he just rolls his eyes like, "Oh my god, this shit again." But I think this is a character who is just he elevates everything he's in, and I think that 2 people I have above him are the 2. I can say 2 heroes because there's no other villains. The 2 heroes I have above him, I think, are just monumental, more important to Marvel canon, and I think I find them more interesting as a whole. But Magneto, as far as villains go, you don't get better than this in Marvel.
Does Magneto miss though? Does Magneto miss? Does anybody else still with that? Who else has Magneto at their number 3?
Magneto's at 3. Magneto's at 3. I'm right there with you,
Chandru.
Chandru. Let's go.
Nice,
Go ahead,
nice.
sir. Go ahead, sir.
Magneto was my number 3 as well. Like Chan said, to kind of it's also like a study. X-Men First Class did it great, right? Like it's a study in 2 men's how they view the world, totally dependent on what their childhood was. And you could have totally seen Magneto have the Professor X outlook if he had a privileged life, just like Professor X did. He was as much a result of his own psyche as much as it was his upbringing and the environment in which he grew up in. And he's also very creative in the way he uses his powers. He needs to know where the metal is, what he can use with the metal, what he can do with the metal, and he's so smart. But end of the day, he also at certain points resorts to violence and genocide, so that's why like he's not way too far at the top for me.
That metal shit's cool, but genocide, that's kind of where
genocide is bad.
This is where I could come in at number 3 and kind of help. There's a few things here. I mean, first of all, every person on this list, save maybe one, he can mollywop. Let's just be real about that. You ain't touching him. Like that's the thing. There's one person on this list I could see that could potentially beat him, maybe 2, but that's about it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, yes, he starts off as a villain, but talk about somebody that is made that way because of their circumstance. Because we didn't have Magneto in the MCU, Killmonger is about as close as you're going to get, and we talk about so hard how Killmonger is arguably the best villain. You obviously can throw Thanos in there at this point, but the idea that what he's fighting for makes sense. He's gone too far, but it makes sense. And you're also talking about, when you look at him through all media, talk about somebody that evolves over time. This dude is essentially like the Vegeta of the Marvel universe, where he's like, look, yes, I'm done with y'all pushing my shit around. This is mine. And then when you actually show him that there's a better way, right now, him, Apocalypse, Mr. Sinister, Professor X, and the whole crew over on Croatia is out here in these streets trying to genuinely make a better world. And that's the one thing you could say about Magneto. I do not agree with all of his methods, but it has always been about trying to do what he can for his people. And I can respect somebody that thinks that way. Again, Brother Malcolm, baby.
Message.
100%. The man don't miss. He don't miss. Yet and still you have him at 3 though. There's 2 people you have above. But you know what? It's all right. Yes. Jader, you're the last one with number 3. Again, a couple people you get to choose from. Which way are you going with this?
I'm kind of regretting my number 3 spot after hearing Winston talk about him, but I had Wolverine on my shit. I had Wolverine, but then he started mentioning Dark Phoenix and Last Stand, and I'm like, fuck, he's right. I was basing it off, honestly, off of Logan, how incredible that movie was.
Well, okay, he ain't Dark Phoenix. Can't use that against him.
No, I know. I'm thinking X-Men in general. I'm like, fuck.
But he's in Apocalypse, dog. He may have been the only good thing about
in the best scene in the movie.
Honestly, this was more based off of my love for Hugh Jackman and how he played the character. Versus, he was pretty much the best thing anytime Wolverine, just like Magneto. I felt like Hugh Jackman didn't miss, and anything. He was, even the quick little cameo he had in First Class had people rolling. It was like, and we're always trying to look out to see if he's not in the film, would he make the cameo? And usually he does. But there's honestly not much more to say about that. It was just more love for the character that I have. You guys are gonna be so disappointed with some of my decisions in this list, because we
already are.
Holy shit! But Wolverine's number 3. I felt like I could have switched them now listening, but fuck it. List is made. It is what it is. Sorry if I cussed. I tend to do it a lot.
I already mentioned beforehand.
I'm not
we don't
do that
get
a lot.
here. It's all right.
Good.
Well, maybe a little bit, but it's fine. We've grown. So going into that, everybody's got 4 left. 2 of them are their bottom 2s. 2 of them are top 2s. I have gotten rid of T'Challa and Spidey somehow. Chandru's gotten rid of Spidey and Magneto. Chance has gotten rid of T'Challa and Magneto, while Winston has Wolverine and Magneto gone. Jake is with me on this one. T'Challa and Spidey at 3 and 4, and Jader has Wolverine and Magneto gone. So before we get into our top 2 and just everybody's number 1, we're going to reveal the bottom 2. Everybody's bottom 2. So we're going to start off with me, and for me, at number 5 is Cap. And number 6 is Iron Man. I'm sorry, easy. Cap was close. Iron Man had my number 6 very, very, very easily. Cap was close, but couldn't make it. I couldn't get out of the barbecue 100%. T'Challa got him a little bit. Chandru, same thought process.
I have the same last 2.
Same bottom 2. Iron Man is number 5 and Cap is number 6. Going down to Chance. Same thought process. At 5 and 6. And we're gonna keep it going because Winston also.
Oh no!
Hey man, let's be real. Let's be real. Be really real, son.
Yeah,
Oh.
Jake did it. Ooh, okay. We finally got somebody. I know
Magneto last.
Magneto is 6. I don't understand that, but you know what? Jader also feels an Iron Man.
Bounce them out of here, bro.
Get him out of here. I'm sorry. So looking at that, it was kind of bad for those two.
What was it? Was it Evans' 8-pack that got him up? That got him to 5. Like,
I don't know. But there is one person here who's not happy because they kept Cap. Well, one person kept T'Challa, 2 kept Wolverine, and 2 kept Spider-Man. Nobody is on an island on their own because 2 people have 1, so we're just going to go at it. And you know what? Even though Magneto does not miss, neither does Wolverine as a character, period. No. Wolverine is headed, as short as the man is, he's head and shoulders above everybody else. I am sorry. I love Magneto. Man doesn't miss as an actor. Man doesn't miss as a villain. Man doesn't miss at all. But Wolverine is the best part of absolutely everything that he's in. The series, the comics, I'm going to say back up on the comics because I don't read them much. But the series, the movies, the actors, everybody else. Y'all can keep who y'all keep. Wolvie is my guy, plain and simple. But you can see what everybody else chose. Cap has Jake. Chandru has T'Challa. I gave my spiel. Chance, thank you. Winston and Jader have Spider-Man. Go at it, fellas.
Wait, I'm sorry. So let's see. I'll go first. Wolverine, like you just said, he is the best part of everything he's in. I remember because I was a youngin when the big Marvel swing started. I actively remember going to see X2 in theaters as how was that? I think it was like 5, 6. But I remember seeing Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, who I did not know at the time was going to be going to be like one of, if not the greatest portrayal of a comic character ever in a movie. To see how good he was, it got me more interested in the character of Wolverine specifically, and just seeing him, seeing him evolve, seeing him grow with the character, and seeing how deep this character goes, like how long he's been around, and how many great stories have been told with this one character, and like whether it's comics, movies, TV, video games. He's always a character I'm going to gravitate to the most. I love the whole man versus animal dichotomy inside of him, and Wolverine easy number 1 for me.
Y'all can jump in whenever y'all want. You can go in order. You can yell at it. It doesn't matter. Just go at it, fellas.
Here's the thing, man. With Spider-Man, first of all, let's just talk dollars at the movies. All right, how many of your choices have either broken a billy or been this damn close to doing it with their films? Not a single Spider-Man movie has missed. Hold on. Let me finish. I said at the box office, fool. Not a single one of those movies has missed. The lowest one, Into the Spider-Verse at $375. Bruh, that had a $90 million budget. Come on now. And they made $375, but No Way Home. Gosh. That's what I'm saying. No Way Home, bro. Out in these streets, 1.8, about to hit that 2 billion marker in a solo film. Yes, you brought in old actors and shit like that, but a solo film about to hit that 2 billion out here near the top of the box office charts. All right. Far From Home, 1.1 billion. All right. Homecoming, 878.
Okay, that's at the same time, bro.
757.
You got Andrew, you got Toby, you got nostalgia. I couldn't fuck that movie up. But like, you look at Logan, an R-rated movie, getting damn close to $1 billion. Like that alone is impressive, and like a dark, like dramatic, like not funny at all comic book movie. The fact that nearly got to $1 billion, I think, is even more impressive.
Look,
but you did it one time. You literally were able to pull it off one time.
Well, Carolina once said it the best. Y'all look crazy thinking that record sales make you the dosefist. I don't care about the money. Wolverine is a character. I'm having it over Spidey.
That's part of it. So there are so many other things. First of all, I need you to all take a minute. I need you to give me 10 villains that this character has fought in their lexicon. And I'm not talking about team. I'm not talking about. Hold on. And I'm not talking about necessarily their team up stuff. If there's someone like Wolverine who his main thing is the X-Men, fine. I will give you somewhat of a pass. But I guarantee you can't name 10 Captain America villains, solo villains. You can't name 10 Iron Man solo villains. You can't name 10 Wolverine, and you can't name 10 T'Challa. And then Magneto, because he fluctuates, that's a whole other conversation. So we're talking about the best rogues gallery in comics outside of Batman.
Well, I mean, Iron Man and Cap were most are 5 and 6s, so we agree there.
Sorry. We can agree with that. We can agree with that.
Yeah, we can. Except Jake, who's on like that weird island where
but you talk about the Rogues Gallery. However, I'm sorry, but I would take Sinister and Apocalypse and Magneto above damn near anybody else of that Rogues Valley in Spider-Man. Period.
No, sir.
You got to do it with a bow on his head.
No, sir. Come on now. You got Venom. You gotta love Venom. Who is it? Screw the films, because I know we don't all agree on that. But as far as a character and what he means in general, come on now. You can't deny any of that.
Look, brothers. We're all losing sight of the important thing.
Huh?
Jay, you got Cap at number 1.
He does have Cap at number 1. He does have Cap.
Look, I know I'm on an island. I get that. But as far as personal look at, and I kept it in the movies. For Captain America, I think his story, his arc in the MCU, to me, is the best arc we got as far as a character in any of the MCU, over Iron Man, over them all. The Winter Soldier is my favorite movie in the MCU, hands down, no question for me. He has some of the best moments overall. I think the journey that he goes through from the very beginning to end. I'm currently rewatching the entire MCU because my fiance has actually never seen them. And so I'm watching them with her, and we just finished the first Avenger, and I love that movie so much. I think the movie is so strong. By the way. Thank you. But yeah, and it's just, I don't know what it is. I think it might just be something from the childhood. You know, my nostalgia of him as a kid. He was one of the characters I read his comic books. I kind of gravitated towards, but then when the MCU happened, like, it just became a whole new thing. I have a lot of merchandise that's Cap. I mean, a lot of the things that I do, it's just, he's the character I gravitate towards the most in the MCU. And it's nothing against the other characters. And I get it. I understand why some people don't like him or his journey or what he stands for. But for me, he's everything that a superhero should be, personally.
I mean, I get it. And I will say this. The only thing that made it difficult for me with Cap was the movie. I think Chris Evans, he injected life in that character. Like someone who never my favorite Avenger. He's always a dude who was there. You got the retro shield. That's how dedicated you are. But yeah, Cap was the guy who never my favorite Avenger. I think Evans did a lot to bring that character, make him interesting. And also credit to the Russos because they did a lot with that character as well. But I think even then, I think Iron Man's journey and that franchise significantly better. And you also got a much better performance from Robert Downey Jr. than you do out of Chris Evans.
There's a reason, I would agree. There's a reason why most people tend to find themselves a little more intrigued by Han Solo than Luke. You obviously love Luke because, he's a Jedi working with the Force. Oh, your dad. But why do so many people gravitate towards Han? Because there's this idea of him not being the best person, but being good at his core and evolving and becoming that guy. It's the same thing that you could say with Iron Man, which is why I had Iron Man at 5 versus Cap at 6. It's Cap evolves, sure, but not the way that Iron Man does. Cap calls him out. You're not the dude to make that sacrifice play. And he again and again proves it. And then he screws up and makes Ultron. And then he tries to fix that wrong. And you're talking about someone that's evolving here. Cap of the 6, through all his stories, with the exception if you go through the books and he gets out of that mindset of I am blindly obsessed with America when I realize that America is flawed. Right? So other than that, he is the one out of all of these characters that evolves the least. And to me, a good story is that arc of evolution. How are you becoming? Otherwise, we saw you at the beginning and you didn't really change or anything. Like some of the things we talk about with Lord of the Rings, some of our favorite characters are the ones that make a massive change in their life and become better than they were when they left. That's really what the hero's journey is about. So for Cap, he remained that guy, and I love him for it, but he just doesn't evolve. So that to me doesn't, do it for me as much.
Okay. Well, Chandru apparently is the only one who gets to stay at the
only one who's
barbecue.
T'Challa.
Yeah, I was, do we gotta sign over? Do we gotta sign over our black cards to change her?
Oh yeah, no, don't. No, all right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We all said how Magneto was like Malcolm X, but this guy is part Martin Luther King, part Nelson Mandela. Of course, yes, violent protest brings attention to things, but like things that actually change are silent protests, and that's the man that T'Challa is. Like, of course, of these 6 people, he's the one who's had like the shortest story. He's only had like one whole movie to himself, but even in that one, it did so much for nerd culture, it did so much for black culture. Like this is probably the first one with an almost all black cast movie that so many white people saw. This is the first comic book movie that many stick up their asses people saw. It's not just tells the story of like an African king. It tells the story of every single colony, every single country that was colonized by white people, and like what it could have been without that history. It's the story of like, and all of these heroes that had like great villains too, but like they were all like cartoon caricatures, and T'Challa was the only one in which the villain had a point, and he learned from that villain and actually like changed his viewpoint because he realized that his father was wrong. The system that in which he got the power was also wrong, and what more could he do? And like and changed his worldview, of course, and changed his approach to things as well. And of all these people, like, have their stories almost completed in an arc, and T'Challa still has like a long arc to go through. And even that one What If episode where T'Challa was Star-Lord showed so much more potential, and like there's so much more distance we could cover from T'Challa. And box office wise, 1 out of 1 is like a home run.
And I'm gonna throw you an alley-oop here because Spider-Man and Black Panther were very hard for me to differentiate, but I went with Spider-Man because I have more to base it off of over life, because I came to T'Challa late as well, but at this point I've read like every story I could get my hand on, seen him in every media I could see him in. Black Panther, for having one film where he's not a supporting character, where he's just the lead, period, is the 13th highest grossing film ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Spider-Man No Way Home is sitting at number 6, and that's after 20 years of Spider-Man films and being arguably the most popular superhero of all time outside of Superman and Batman. Like, whenever you have the conversation, I know the DC trifecta of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but if we're being honest, Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man are considered the 3 most popular superheroes of all time. So the fact that Black Panther was able to do that in a film, let alone the influence that you see with him in the Marvel Universe with the Illuminati, the fact that he's married to Storm, one of the most powerful fucking superheroes of all time. I had that ready. Like, there's a
so
lot
mad
more.
She didn't make the list. Why didn't y'all vote for her people? Anyway.
Wait, so who selects the top 6?
I do with some help with votes from people who I know. I put a list up. Who would you keep? And those were the ones who kind of went through. Jader, you also have Spider-Man. Take us home with your number one.
I'm actually gonna do just with Winston with alley-oop, because I had Spidey at 1, T'Challa at number 2. Only reason, honestly, why you can invite me to the barbecue whenever you want, brother.
I'll be there.
So am I not invited now?
Your list? No. So I went based on Spidey, honestly, based off my childhood, what I fell in love with. That was my first movie experience ever was Batman '89, which I hold Batman near and dear. But Spider-Man is like neck and neck with him, right? And just basing it off of the series comic books. The movie, when we finally got the 2002 Sam Raimi film, what we got after everything we've gotten after that, name me somebody that has a better video game, because I know every one of you who played the Spider-Man video games. That shit slaps.
Batman, but out of the rest of these people,
I know this is kind of like, not reaching, but we also have Peter Parker, and we have Miles, another character that I absolutely love.
And Gwen, my guy, and Gwen.
So you have Miles. Let's talk soundtracks. The Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack. Come on, man. There's no touching it. So for me, Spider-Man for me is just that was like, you know how
you know what I can't touch though? Nickelback.
Yeah, okay, well, that's why I said Spider-Man.
Nickelback wasn't a thing,
and that song
it'd be
still
number one.
slaps. Don't give me shit. That song still slaps, bro.
I'm gonna go ahead and just take myself out real quick. I don't know if I can. You mentioned Nickelback.
Listen, you want change?
I forgot about Nickelback. Hey, yo, look.
So, anyways, man. For me, it's just everything that about Spider-Man, what he stands for, the villains, it's untouchable. You know how you had your number 2 was solid. My number 1, as soon as I saw the list, I'm like, all right, well, I know where this I'm going. I'm pretty sure Jake had Cap like number 1 as soon as he saw the list as well. But my whole thing was right after that was because I have just my love for Black Panther as well. I actually saw Black Panther with Ultimate as well. That's the first time I ever saw him, and I fell in love with that character. Same thing. I ended up going back, started reading. And when I saw that, I got to see that movie about 2 weeks early because I had to review it, and I gushed over that film of how I feel like it's a masterpiece. Personally, I know a lot of people. In fact, I had an argument with one of my coworkers today because I told him about the show, and he saw where I put T'Challa. He's like, "You're fucking crazy," and I'm like, but yeah, I know we're gonna talk T'Challa in a little bit or right now or whatever. But it's just love that I have for both of those characters. One that I found at very early on in my life, and one that I found late, and just completely fell in love with everything that Black Panther stands for. The world, just Wakanda itself. It's so mesmerized, so beautiful. Everything that they sent, everything, the Dora Milaje, everything about that world. I'm a sucker for it, and the soundtrack is dope as fuck too.
Yes, it is. No lies there whatsoever. So to wrap up, I got a couple things to wrap up. Put your list in the chat if you haven't yet. But I have a question for you all to leave off of as I follow up. Give you some time to think about it. If there was a character that wasn't on this list that would shake up your list, whether it's shake it up at the beginning or end that you would input here from Marvel, who would it be? I mentioned mine already. Mine's a Storm. Storm would come in there and F shit up for me. I don't know where she would land, but she would be somewhere at the top, and some people would be following down. But as y'all think about that, a couple in the chat got some love for Wolverine and Spidey. Black Panther at 4. Oh man. Manny, my brother, he's probably the reason why Wolverine is number 1 for me, to tell you the truth, just because I grew up looking at him. A 6 for Spidey and a 1 for Iron Man. Completely different.
This is like exact opposite of
exact opposite. We did have a vote for Dr. Doom, and I'll give y'all a little bit. Didn't come up. But before we get into that, just real quick recap. Me and Chance said Wolverine, Chandra had T'Challa, Winston and Jader had Spidey, Jake had Cap. So if you all could put one person in this list to shake things up, who would it be? Chandra.
They actually just mentioned it. Mine would be Dr. Doom.
Just throwing that's
Marvel,
up there.
Marvel villain in there, man. Freaking genius, everything. And he's honestly, I know we mentioned Magneto being one of the greatest villains in the Marvel. For me, it's between them two. Those for me are the two top villains in the Marvel universe. So just to shake things up, and I don't even know, I probably put him just slightly higher than Magneto personally. But that would be the one that would shake it up. He wouldn't be number 1, but just something to think about.
I mean, shit, just based on movies, he'd most certainly not be number 1.
No. I'm just, this is based off just.
No, yeah. I get you. I'm just
definitely not the movies.
Chandra, what about you?
For me, it's Jean Grey. I know, like, the movies didn't do her story justice, but it's such a strong storyline for like gaslighting, for like like bipolar disorder, for such a strong metaphor for trying to like control your powers, not because you want to, sometimes because you have to, you're forced to by others. I'm still waiting for someone to like execute it properly in the movies, but yeah, Jean Grey.
Jake, what about
you? She would mess up all these 6 people with power grid.
Easily. Jake, what about you?
Mine was also Storm. I had a mad crush on Halle Berry as a kid watching those movies, and
We all still.
I would absolutely love to see that character in the MCU someday. I don't know if we will see her, but she was one of those comic characters that I really kind of liked reading as a kid too. So
okay, Winston, you mentioned Doom. Is it going to be Doom for you?
Doom, I'll give you a fantastic 4 of options here that you could choose if you'd like. You can definitely throw Doom in there. You can throw Thanos in there. Come on now. Every good story needs an even better villain, and this is a dude across the board that really gets stuff done. In that regard, I'm going to throw Hulk in there as a potential option as well. Talk about one of the most misunderstood people that has nothing to prove to anyone. And as he says, Hulk just wants to be left alone. And yet he is hunted, he is persecuted, and he still does the right thing. That's wild to me. And then I guess probably like the last one to at least be in that consideration. My brain just completely shorted out for a second. I had a really good answer, and now I can't remember. Sure. But I'll go with somebody that I just love as a character, Gambit. I mean, Gambit is just, again, talk about a smooth talking SOB, some really dope-ass powers. It's a shame that we have not got to see a good rendition of him outside of any animated stuff, but he's absolutely one. Oh, I remembered, and we're about to get it. Kang, I'll give you Kang as well. And the reason why is you'll get to see it, but if you haven't read his recent book about how Kang became Kang, talk about somebody that is fulfilling their own prophecy, but also just living through such a tragic story to become that person. It's a really beautiful thing to watch, man.
And then Chance, what about you?
I was gonna say Gambit, but only if Channing Tatum played him. But it's another one I'll throw out there. I'll say I just had it in my head. Oh, Doctor Strange. I'm a massive fan of Doctor Strange. I was a big fan of the trippy like 60s on acid Doctor Strange. And I think like Cumberbatch is just so excellent in the role. Like he's someone who like kind of like Wolverine, someone who I'm easily excited by anytime I see. I was gonna say Kang, but I'll throw another villain out there. Galactus. I really love Galactus. I don't think any Marvel villain on the page terrified me as much as Galactus did. Just this guy is like fucking 1,500, like maybe more than that, like 1,000,000-foot dude who's gonna come and like just eat my planet. Like that, nothing like that visual just always terrified me. So yeah, Galactus. And I hope they can do Galactus right eventually. I feel like we'll get there eventually, but that's someone who I want to see done properly in a film.
All right. So with that, what we're going to get into now is who is moving on. So with the fan votes, with what we got, with list coming in and my original vote, they had Spidey at number 1. They had Cap at number 2 and Wolverine at number 3. And the way it goes, if you get a first place point, you get 5. Second place, you get 3 points. And third place, you get 1. And with that, the top 2 are going to move on. So what we have right now is Magneto at 6, T'Challa at 11.
Okay.
Spidey at 20.
He didn't crack top 3.
Cap at 8.
It's not in order.
Iron Man did not.
Damn.
He did not.
Come on,
he's
T'Challa.
Iron Man, but this guy
Come on,
Come on,
T'Challa.
baby.
Come on,
Based off
T'Challa.
that-
Shit.
No, it's gonna be Wolverine, isn't it?
I know, math.
Fucking
Fucking
our
math.
winners. Going through to the next round are Wolverine and Spider-Man.
This shit is rigged.
T'Challa was close. T'Challa was really close. I'd like to thank all the gentlemen on today. I appreciate it. If you liked the show, if you want to continue watching, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. I've moved over to our new channel, Bitesize Breakdown. Definitely follow all these guys here. Definitely follow us as we continue to move through the tournament. And as always, the riddle for next episode of One Gotta Stay's One Geek Tournament. And it's going to be a wild one. The March Madness tournament just finished their road to the Final Four. But roads, where we're going, we don't need roads.
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
telling you, you come back. Make sure you give us a huge thumbs up before it's too late. Let us know you're going to be back. You're gonna be glad that you did because you're gonna be glad that you did because you're gonna be dodging some major bullets if you watch live.
Wow.
If you don't watch live, you're gonna be feeling like you're in a different time, looking at everybody like, what is going on? But when you do, one of two things are gonna happen. You're either going to hear people agree and saying together, strong, or you're going to hear people disagree and they're going to be ready to fight full mech suit and yelling at the other people to just get your hands off of my pick. You think you know who the
Nicely
six
done,
are
sir.
for the
Nicely
next
done.
episode. Leave a comment. And with that, for Tundru, for Jake, for Winston, for Jader, and for Chance, we are out of here.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God